I'm Adam Collins, it's Cricbuzz Unplugged, and I'm thrilled to have here at Lord's Glenn Maxwell with me here, who today took his first 5-wicket haul in first-class cricket. You must have loved it.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. The conditions were pretty favourable, I suppose, for myself. There was a lot of left-handers, bit of rough, outside off stump, and a few balls skidding low, so I was able to beat both sides of the bat, which was nice.
A huge year 2019 for cricket here in England. You're playing for Lancashire in the first-class setup and white ball cricket, of course, but you've spoken so much about wanting to play more red ball cricket. You must have been thrilled to get a chance to play at Lord's, no less, this week here.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to make your debut for a club, and as saying that as well, that to make an impact for your first game with any club is really exciting, and to get us off to a good start, having a first up win, first game of the year, and what a place to do it. And hopefully there's some runs around the corner in the one-day stuff, and I can really make an impact there.
4 years ago, you were Australia's principal spinner in a World Cup campaign, a successful World Cup campaign, and you didn't bowl so much for a couple of years. Is it important to sort of remind the world what you can do with your off-spin in a World Cup year?
Yeah, well, it's probably the first time I've got a really big chance to actually bowl a long spell and really settle in, and there was a lot of faith I think that Dane gave me out there, and despite a couple of overs going for a couple of boundaries here and there, he was able to keep the faith, and I was able to really repay that and be able to produce some wickets at different times and really build partnerships. So I think myself and Josh Bohannon in the first innings were able to keep it tight, and all the way up to the new ball, where we were able to get a couple of wickets just before that new ball, and then create a bit of chaos after that with Jimmy Anderson and Tom Bailey's been outstanding at the end as well. So for us to, I suppose, do a different job in the second innings, with myself being a little bit more, getting a few more wickets, and I suppose the other guys playing a different role.
Mention the World Cup. It could be on this balcony that you're lifting the trophy with your colleagues in about 2 months from now. The squad's named tomorrow. Where do you see yourself fitting in? There's been a lot of conjecture about your place in the side, especially where you might bat. Where would you love to bat when it all rolls around in June?
Yeah, look, I think the way that we've, I think, sized up for those last 8 ODIs, we played such good cricket, consistent, solid cricket, and we were adaptable at different times as well. I got thrown up at different times depending on the situation. I see myself as that sort of role player, that no matter what sort of situation that middle overs are happening, I feel like I can adapt to those, and that just comes with experience and spending more time in that role consistently, and to be able to, I think, produce consistent scores towards the back end of that Pakistan series gave me a lot of confidence going forward. And
the belief seems to be back in this Australian 50 over side, whereas for a fairly extended period of time you couldn't get a run on. Those 8 one-days you mentioned there didn't drop the ball at any stage. You get Smith and Warner, a couple of handy blokes, back into the 11 for the World Cup. You guys actually believe you can win this thing, don't you?
Yeah, and that belief is a massive thing. I think it sort of spreads throughout the group. The batters have a lot of belief in each other to do the job, and the way that they've performed, I suppose, over the last month or so, perfect timing really heading into this World Cup, and it's going to be interesting to see what the squad looks like, and hopefully we can get together quickly in Brisbane and hit the ground running once we come over here.
You're a pretty ambitious guy, and you've always been a very confident cricketer. The Ashes comes up at the end of the summer. You're not in the Australian setup at the moment, but do you feel as though with what you're doing for Lancashire and then what you might be able to do in the World Cup, you could just bash the door down by the time they name that squad in July? Yeah,
look, I probably haven't had the first class numbers all games, I suppose, over the last 12 to 18 months that I would have liked, but to be able to, I suppose, put a lot of performances on the board during the World Cup and help us to a lot of wins, you never know. I could sneak in there and find a way to bash the door down, as you said, but my sole focus at the moment is preparing for that World Cup, and these 5 domestic ODDs, I suppose they are, to get ready for that is what I'm really focused on right now.
Big challenge coming up on Good Friday, playing against James Pattinson, your Victorian teammate who's been bowling heat in the Sheffield Shield. Looking forward to that?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. He's a gun paddo, and it's a great wicket there at Trent Bridge as well, so looking forward to taking him on, and I'm sure he'll be heated up and raring to go.
Congratulations for your fifer here at Lord's today, Glenn Maxwell. Thank you for joining Cricbuzz Unplugged.
Cheers, Colin. Thank you.